Can't hear or see anything. Let me check, find out if the meeting started. I'll text her. Of course she does. No. There's nothing here. There's like nothing going on. Oh, sign in. Password. Oh, it starts at 9. Okay. It's 8:15. Oh. Okay.
There's Phil.
Tell him I found it.
Michelle said she sent it to Kelly yesterday. This is what she said.
Yeah, I got it. Tell him I found it. Doesn't start till 9.
Oh, it's only 5 of the soccer, Iranian soccer ladies.
Hoping to intercept them because the elevator down to the garage takes too long. So the staircase is a better option. Players supporters Tina and Lee give chase, running interference. And hurling insults.
What's going on there?
No, they had handlers there. They had handlers watching the women,
Oh, fuck.
and they're going after them.
Down to the garage, the door is locked. So whether that was locked intentionally, it's a fire escape. The door should be open. After hitting a dead end, the group works back up. Ian tails.
Yeah, he's panicking because when he goes back home, he's gonna get shot.
That's when you could see the distress. He looked like a man who had failed his job. Very distraught. And see that you know they're yelling at one point. They came in and out of the hotel, back into the lobby. There was chaos with them trying to figure out what to do. It was during this chaotic time that the girls were able to leave the hotel.
Oh, Social Security Administration. I got something from Social Security.
Mhm.
Nothing from the VA.
Excuse me, I'm keeping a seat.
Okay, gonna make some breakfast then. Um,
a virtual Zoom. The public comment may be provided by raising your hand and requesting to provide public comment. This can occur in several ways, including by dialing *9 from your phone to raise your hand and request to speak for public comment. To unmute yourself, dial *6. You can also provide public comment for this meeting by sending an email to countyclerks@lyon-county.org the day prior to the posted meeting date. Be sure to type public comment in the subject line. Written public comments may also be mailed to the Lyon County Development Office at 27 South Main Street, Yerington, Nevada, 89447. But all public comments must be received prior to the date of the meeting if the comments are to be included in the supplemental materials. When a written public comment received the day of the meeting will be compiled and added as a supplemental materials to the county's website and distributed to the Planning Commission within 24 hours after the meeting. Members of the public may attend the meeting in person at the Greg Honeywell Lyon County Commission Chambers at 27 South Main Street in Yerington, Nevada. This morning we'll start with roll call. Andrew Merritt.
Here.
Audrey Allen. Here. I'm Shannon Sarasola. Mark Jones.
Here.
Loretta Sell.
Here.
We're missing two of the Planning Commission, Wendy Loomis and losing my mind, and Katie Baker, for the record. Pledge of Allegiance. You want to start? Sure. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Audrey, for that. Next is public participation. No action will be taken on any item until it is properly agendized. Members of the public who wish to address the Planning Commission may approach the podium and speak on matters related to the Lyon County Planning Commission, but not on items appearing on the agenda. Speakers are asked to state their name for the record and to sign and print their name on the form at the lectern. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person or topic. The commission reserves the right to reduce this 3-minute time limit as well as limit the total time for public comment. If your time item requires extended discussion, please request the chair to calendar the matter for a future planning commission meeting. The planning commission will not restrict comments based on viewpoint. The same applies to public testimony on each agenda item. The chair may reopen public participation at any time during the meeting. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. We're going to remove, so do we have any public comment at this time? Anyone in the audience? Does not appear so. Anyone online? Okay, we're going to move to item number 4, review and adoption of the agenda for possible action. Do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll motion to accept the agenda.
Okay, so Loretta Sells, Commissioner Sells motioned. The second was by Commissioner Allen. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? That passes. Oh, and do we have any public comment on it before we? Sorry, I forget we have to do that. Anything online? Okay, so that passes 5-0. We're going to move for possible action for approval of minutes. Does anybody have any comments on the meeting minutes? No. Does anybody from the public have any comments from last month's meeting minutes? How about any public comments from anybody online? Okay, I will take a motion for that.
That we approve the minutes from the February 10th, 2026 meeting as written.
I'll second.
Okay, it was motioned by Commissioner Allen to accept meeting minutes as posted. It was seconded by Commissioner Jones. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? That passes 5-0. Okay, next, advisory board reports. We do have some advisory board reports and they will go into the record. We have information from Smith Valley Cab for 6A and information from Smith Valley Cab for 7A. And that appears. All. There's no action that needs to be taken with that, so we're going to move to item number 7, public hearing items. 7A, Mr. Jones is going to recuse himself since he is a party to this item application. Public 7A is for public action to forward a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners for the request from Mark Jones for a conditional use permit for an indoor vertical farm system on land zoned agricultural AG located at 60 Artesia Road in Wellington on an approximately 21.60 acre parcel. APN 010-081-43, PLZ 2026-003. And Miss Lisa is here for the staff. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lisa Nash, Senior Planner. So with the agreement of applicant, staff is recommending a continuance of this item. I would like to, however, run through a brief presentation to give an outline of the item. We will see it again in the next month or two, and there is a lot of public here, so we'll have public comment as well.
I have just a question. If we are doing a continuance, that we have a date certain.
The applicant has asked for up to 60 days so that they have time to work with staff to
Right.
get the information requested.
Thank you.
But if it's okay with you and the chair, I will go through the brief presentation so everybody's on the same page, and that provides a framework for the comments you'll get from the public. So, perfect. All right, so the property is located at 60 Artesia Road. It's a 21.6 acre parcel. It has been used for farming in the past and currently is occupied by 2 residences and outbuildings. Those are in the northeast corner of the site, which you can see on the map to the right. We'll go to the next. So the property, Olive Smith Valley, is a rural character district, and this property is located in the agricultural master plan land use area, surrounded to the south and a little bit over to the west by rural residential. Next page. Good. All right, so this parcel is subject to agriculture zoning per the current code, Title 15. In August of 2024, the applicant requested a zone change from rural residential 20 acres or RR5 under Title 10 to agriculture, and that was granted. So the surrounding properties, as you can see in the pink, are all RR5 20 acre minimums, and the green directly adjacent and to the south is RR3, has a 5 acre minimum and is built out with a number of residences. So staff were requested by the applicant to make a determination of unlisted use because vertical farming is not listed in our development code. It's not an established use in Lyon County. So based on the process description provided by the applicant at the time, staff reviewed all of the uses in the land tables, our definitions and everything, and decided that this use was not exactly the same, but most similar to small agricultural production, food processing facility as described in Lyon County Code 15.336.13. We recognize that it's not a perfect fit. That's part of a determination of unlisted use. So it is an allowed use on agricultural land. It's also an allowed use on an industrial. We're recognizing and looking at it as if it is a probably agricultural industrial type activity. It is subject to a conditional use permit per Lyon County Development Code, which was part of what figured into staff making this determination. I did pull up the site plan and add some arrows so we could see a little clearer. The pink up at the top is their proposed drainage area. The little black and pink around are all the loading docks. There's 11 on each building. The phase 1 building is the furthest to the west, and it has offices and labs on the south end, as well as their water and chemical storage where they'll use to recycle water through the situation or through the processing. And then the two side entrances are the purple arrows. You can see there's one in the middle of the south side of the property, and then at the corner, Artesia bends to the west. And then the applicant is proposing along the outside edge, 100 parking spots per building. That is something we'll look into more depth. I believe that's probably overparked, but we haven't gone into the calculations yet. So, looking at this as well, I think the plan for phase 2 is unfortunately most of the trees will be removed on the east side, which you might have seen comments about in the public comments. And some of the buildings in existence up there will be removed. So with that, that's a brief rundown of the project. Staff has in their report, there's findings and much more additional information, but I just wanted to set a framework for public comment and for if you guys have any questions about the continuance. At that point, I'll stop. Does the applicant have anything to say? I don't know where the applicant went. Do you have anything you want to add?
No.
All right, so no presentation or nothing from the applicant at this time.
Okay, does anybody from the board have any questions?
So will this be presented then at the June? meeting?
This would potentially be April or May. One of those two meetings.
Can we be more certain than that?
No, the applicant would like more, they were gonna go just for April 14th, but they would like to be able to go April or May.
Traffic study?
That's why we're saying they should do up to 60 days, which gives them April or May. It lets them hit that number. When the applicant picks a specific date really close, it's a little problematic. And if they picked May, but they were ready in April, they wouldn't be able to go. So that's why we're doing that.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so we're gonna open it up to public comment in the galley here. Does anybody have any public comments that they want to put on record? Good morning.
Good morning.
And just make sure, yes, please, you sign in with your address and then state your name for the record before you speak.
Jen, I got my phone.
Good morning. Leslie Sine from Wellington. The applicant tells everyone that since this is an ag project on land zoned for ag, that he cannot be denied. However, I think there's plenty of evidence to show this is actually an industrial project. Information about this has been offered up in many of the comments submitted for the project, and Ms. Nash suggests that several times in her staff report. Therefore, the project should actually be denied because the applicant brought forth an industrial project to ag land. However, understanding you may not want to take that action at this time, I request you do support the staff recommendation for continuance, which is obviously already happening, but specifically request they take a step back and have more study, review, and research as to the industrial nature of this project. The fact the applicant did not provide sufficient operational details, plans, and studies brings question to the whole proposal. This leads me to make the parallel request that the CUP in general, which is already being continued for all the reasons listed in the staff report outlined in all the public comment letters. But I do hope the number one priority will be to find the appropriate zoning classification for a large scale industrial, possibly automated vertical grow facility, while at the same time exploring the multitude of issues outlined in the staff report and comments, so that if this does move forward, appropriate mitigation occurs. You've heard or seen in the comments, you're probably going to hear more of the 24/7 nature 365 right across from residential area. I do not live in the area. I live several miles away. The electric infrastructure has to be explored because of what could happen to the electrical load in the valley. Just Google the information on vertical farming. The water information, just continuing to say they have plenty of water without any definitive details on its use is pretty insulting to everybody in the valley. The traffic study you just mentioned, lighting and noise issues to include night sky impacts, the precedent for allowing industrial projects in ag areas. And I don't know if you can do this, but seriously, a feasibility study along with a bond for remediation if this fails, since neither of the applicants has a background in ag, organics, or engineering. Another important factor to consider is the property rights of the many as opposed to the property rights of one. The immediate neighborhoods contain over 100 properties with values exceeding $50 million. Go a little further out, the number becomes much higher. The impact of those landowners in Smith Valley at large should weigh heavily in this decision. For a first of a kind project in this county, the first step is to ensure it's properly classified so zoning can be reviewed as to whether it is an appropriate use. Beyond that, there must be detailed operating plans, substantial analysis, and involvement of real licensed professionals for community members to truly evaluate the pros and cons and to be able to submit meaningful comments to the planning department for consideration in this process. Such an extreme lack of details is troubling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else in the audience?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can, yes, thank you for signing in, and then just make sure you state your name for the record, please.
Okay, my name is Matthew Swain. I am a resident of Smith Valley. I live about a mile and a quarter from 60 Artesia. Excuse me while I put my glasses on. The 60 Artesia Road vertical farm proposal lies in the southwest corner of Smith Valley. This is a very quiet corner of the valley with virtually no through traffic. The ambient noise level is very low, with geese, cows, dogs, and human voices often discernible even though they are coming from well over a mile away. Into this very quiet environment, we are considering the introduction of a 200,000 square foot industrial facility. The synthetic environment within this facility is dependent upon an electrical power consumption of likely over 60 megawatts. The laws of physics dictate that this power will ultimately be converted into heat and must be expelled from the facility by means of industrial scale heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system comprised of fans, compressors, condensers, pumps, and cooling towers, each of which make up its contribution to develop a dull roar that will be present 24 hours a day year-round. The applicant insists that this is an agricultural facility, but agriculture has been a part of this valley for over 150 years and has never before been a source of round-the-clock noise. This noise will significantly alter the character of the environment, especially for those living within residential zone properties within a mile of the facility. This facility is wholly unsuitable for anything other than an industrial zone and must therefore be rejected for this property at 60 Artesia Road. If the applicant insists upon building this facility within Lyon County, there are many areas within industrial zones where it would be a much better fit. Thank you.
Good morning.
I might have supported this project.
Before you start, please can just give us your name and your address. Thanks.
Judith Harker, Terrell Lane, Wellington. I might have supported this project. Pesticide-free food production with low water use sounds really good, but there are many inconsistencies, inaccuracies, and omissions in the application. The justification sounds as if it were taken from a generic vertical farming propaganda and just put together without much thought. For example, part of the justification states, quote, "No more food miles. Healthy produce is available next door to where we live in our cities." Smith Valley is not a city, and trucking produce up to 150 miles is a lot of food miles. It mentions being fully automated. At the same time, it claims to be bringing in many new jobs. It claims to be a clean room facility, but the plans show no description of a clean room. Loading bays are open to the outside and are not isolated from growing racks. It claims to be organic. As described, it is pesticide-free, but this is not the same as organic. It claims to have a 10-inch well on site, but the applicant does not own this well. He would have to apply for new ag well, and in an overall allocated basin, this is not a done deal. If there is a new ag well, it must be far enough away from the nearby adjacent wells to not impair their operation through excessive drawdown. The document submitted to the Lyon County Community Development Department stated that there would be rooftop solar. The CUP does not mention this. And I'm wondering, was this an oversight or is there now no rooftop solar? It claims to have power on site, but there's no evidence that the available power will meet the very large power demand required to operate this facility. Further, the site plan shows no indication of a backup generator that would be required to prevent crop loss in the event of power failure. I guess what really galls me is that the incomplete and poor quality of this application shows little respect for the competence, the dedication, and the professionalism of the planning department staff and members of the planning commission, or even of the people of Smith Valley who've taken the time and trouble to read it. I hope you will support the recommendations of the planning department and continue this CUP until the requested studies have been completed and the requested information has been provided by the applicant in a new serious application. Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Angie Proper. I live in Wellington as well, on Upper Colony, maybe a half mile away. The question here is zoning and CUP. It's pretty clear zoning, this is more industrial and not ag. We love ag. I live across the street from the farming. I love to hear the machinery during the season. This is talked about 24/7. There's no season, it's continuous. The other question is the CUP. So according to the CUP, section B findings are not met. The current development proposal is of a two-story, or it is of two 3-story industrial style buildings totaling 200,000 square feet. And it's adjacent to a majority of RR5 properties, which we call our homes and our neighborhood. This 3-story industrial style plan is not compatible with the character and integrity of our adjacent neighborhood or with anything else in the area. Those are words on the CUP application of what it should meet. It does not. It will also impact traffic, noise, odors, and be a visible nuisance. This is what it needs to meet. It does not meet that. In section E findings, they are not met. There is no way to address the adverse effects and visual impacts of this 3-story, 200,000 square foot industrial style building to blend into our adjacent neighborhood and homes. Section G, findings are not met. The proposed, again, 3-story, 200,000 square foot industrial style building will be materially detrimental to our adjacent neighborhood and our homes. If these excessively large structures are built, our home values will decrease. And if this vertical farm project fails, the neighborhood will be left with 2 huge decaying industrial sized buildings in our neighborhood. In researching the vertical farm business, a simple search shows you their zone. They are all zoned industrial or light industrial, not agriculture, not residential. So besides the fact that the criteria mentioned above in sections B, E, and G do not meet CUP requirements, the plan is industrial, not agriculture, and should be denied. Thank you.
Do we have anybody else in the gallery that'd like to speak? Good morning.
Robin Biggs for the record. I live here in Yerington, Nevada. The lack of transparency is just frightening. The fact that the citizens had to do the research to let the planning department know that this is not appropriate. The fact that Mr. Jones doesn't have listed who his partner is on this is concerning. What crop is it going to grow? Where are the PowerPoint maps for the community that we're showing of where this is going? Those are beautiful maps, but how come they aren't listed in the for the public? With I can't think of the word, but the supporting material. I mean that. Lack of transparency and the fact that Mark Jones is talking through most of this public comment to individuals at the back table is really outrageous. Thank you.
Morning. I have something prepared for each of you. Can I? Do that? Why do you get nervous when you step up here? I don't know. It's very strange.
At least the people are looking at the back.
Yeah, exactly. Good morning. My name is Mark Cushman, and I'm speaking in opposition to the conditional use permit. This proposal of a 200,000 square foot building operating 24 hours per day in a rural residential and agricultural area with scattered homes and no nearby commercial or industrial development is very disturbing. Under Lyon County Code 15.336, the commission must find that the use is harmonious and compatible with surrounding properties and will not adversely affect the character of the area. This project represents a fundamental change in land use intensity. A 200,000 square foot continuous operating facility with employees, employee shifts, truck deliveries, exterior lighting, mechanical systems, and parking activity is not consistent with traditional rural agricultural use patterns in our area. Even if described as agricultural, the scale and operational intensity are industrial in nature. Code 15.336 requires more than labeling. It requires compatibility. The record contains no traffic study, no lighting photometric analysis, no noise study, no drainage engineering, and no demonstration of fire flow or septic capacity. Without that evidence, and given the rural residential context that requires findings under 15.336, this project cannot be supported. Approving this would materially alter the character of the area and set a precedent for industrial scale operations in rural residential zones. And for these reasons, I respectfully request denial of the application. And I'm assuming, but I just wanted to clarify if I could ask a question. Do you guys have any formal traffic impact study on record for this? No. Drainage or stormwater engineering drainage calculations or anything? And the last one was, could you confirm whether the existing well and septic system have been evaluated to ensure it can support a 200,000 square foot structure of this nature? Okay. All right. Thank you for your time.
I would just like to add for the record that Mr. Mark Cushman's information was part of our packet that was given to us this morning as well. Thank you. Do we have anybody else in the audience that would like to speak?
Morning. Good morning. I just want to briefly say that we bought our house 3 years ago and our.
I'm sorry. I know.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Just
This is the first time I ever spoke, so.
that's perfectly fine.
We bought our house and our land 3 years ago because we had a dream of retiring and living in an area that had beautiful scenery, had wonderful wildlife. You know, it's just a spectacular area. And then this whole project to me is a game changer. I was raised on a farm in Colorado, so I know what a farm consists of. But I just want to say that I'm not for this. I'm 100% behind all these people that have just spoke. And whoops. And that's basically it. I want to thank you for your time. I don't agree with this project at all. I just think it's going to be a big eyesore. And I don't have the facts and the figures like everybody else does, but I do agree with whatever they've said. So thank you. Thank you.
If we don't have anyone else in the gallery, we're going to move to online. Is there anybody online who has any public comment? Okay, I don't see any show of hands. So at this time, we will take a motion. Do we have to motion or? Yes,
For continue.
okay. Somebody want to take a motion for that?
This is for the continuance, right?
30 to 60 days.
I motion that we allow the continuance for 30 to 60 days. Commissioner Merritt for the record.
Could you
Go ahead, staff.
hold on?
Do you have to read the whole thing, the whole description and just add that caveat to the end of it?
And then I add the yeah, for up to 60 days.
Okay.
You have it, or I can provide it to you.
Let's see here. There it is. Okay. Well, there's one on the screen too. So based on the let's see, the staff findings. I move that we allow a continuance of the request from Mark Jones for a conditional use permit for a vertical farm system on land subject to ag zoning, generally located at 60 Artesia Road in Wellington on a 21.60 acre parcel, APN 010-081-43 PLZ-2026-003 up to 60 days.
I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion was provided by Commissioner Merritt, seconded by Commissioner Seller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? We don't want to follow. Move it to 30, 60 days.
Many votes, yes.
3. What's the point of denying it?
I'll go along with it, with the idea that we get a lot more information. And I can oppose next month if I, or the month after if I need to. I'll say aye.
Okay. So we have no nays and we have 1 abstention. So that's going to pass for 0-1 to move it for a continuance for 30 to 60 days.
Madam Chair, would you mind if I made a comment?
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry, Lisa Nash, Senior Planner. Commissioner Allen, I understand your concern, and that is directly why we are continuing. So staff will work with applicant to continue to obtain the information we've requested. And just for full transparency, if the information is not provided, staff will be recommending denial.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a note for the record that Commissioner Jones is back in his seat, and we're going to move on to 7B, agenda item. For possible action to forward a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners for the request from Nevada Cement Company LLC for a master plan amendment to change the designations from employment and resource to industrial on 3 parcels that total approximately 462.27 acres in Fernley at 1290 West Main Street and 2 unaddressed locations, APNs 021-042-01, 021-571-08, and 021-581-01 PLZ-2025-106. Lewis is staff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. I don't know what I did there. So I'm happy to present this item and the next item on behalf of Nevada Cement. I would point out that the applicant, Jared Kupchak, is here and his consultant is also joined us today. So if you have project-specific questions or more specific questions about the operation of Nevada Cement, they will be available to answer those questions. So we'll jump right in here. The parcels are located in Fernley. We don't see many applications in this area of the county, particularly this far north. So we can see the general location of the site here in this image. There will be 4 parcels that we'll discuss over this item and the next item. But for the sake of clarity, I've highlighted the location of the largest of the 4 parcels. And it's also the location of the existing Nevada Cement plant. So that's what we see there on the right. All 4 parcels are located north of Highway 80 and east of West Main Street in Fernley. This large parcel that we're looking at there is on the order of 267 acres. In this image, we can see on the right, the 3 parcels that are the subject of the master plan amendment proposed with this item. When we move to the zone change in the next item, we'll incorporate a 4th parcel, so that is included here for reference. We can see the size of the parcels there on the left. Notably, to the north of the existing Nevada Cement plant is 160 acres. This is the location of a proposed expansion by Nevada Cement. So a little background here and the reason for these amendments discussed here on the slide, and I can just kind of talk through it instead of reading through it. But in September of 25, Nevada Cement met with the planning department to discuss their plans for expansion. At that time, we recognized there may be the need for boundary line adjustments in addition to development approvals. And in order to more cleanly process a boundary line adjustment, staff wanted to ensure that the master plan and the zoning for these parcels would be consistent. And currently they are not. So in order to move forward with their development plans, Nevada Cement was advised to move through these applications. The other 2 parcels that are, and we'll see more of them moving forward here, that are not part of the direct plans for expansion are all also owned by Nevada Cement and are all considered for future development. So in the interest of, again, making future reviews a cleaner process for both the applicant and the county, the planning department did advise that all 4 parcels would move into the same designations for the master plan and zoning. So those are the requests before you today. This image provided by the app, I'm sorry, yes, Ms. Allen.
So what you're saying then, when these projects expand or as they move forward, they will comply with both city planning as well as Lyon County? And those will be compatible, is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. I mean, we'll touch on that moving forward, but yes, these parcels are within the cooperative planning area with the city of Fernley. And we did send notice of these requests to Fernley, and I will have a couple slides to kind of address their feedback coming forward. Sure. So this site plan is included in the staff reports as an attachment with a preliminary design for the expansion of the existing plant. And while we can't actually approve any development through our items today, it is useful to see what the plans are. So we can see the expansion to the north on that 160 acre parcel here. The next two slides are part of the packet of pictures that were provided by the applicant. I've included them here in the presentation for the purpose of sort of demonstrating the generalized landscape around the existing Nevada cement plant. So the existing silos are approximately 120 feet. I did confirm with Mr. Kupchak this morning that, you know, going up to those silos to take these pictures, probably from a vantage point on the order of 110 feet. So we can see there on the left from the existing plant parcel looking east, and then on the right side looking west, we can note that the landscape would be dominated by the existing plant. We are looking at some vacant land to the east. And if we move to the next slide, this parcel, these pictures, I'm sorry, are from that parcel to the north, again looking east and west. And what we'll note here is no significant existing development. It's important to note also some of the land to the north is publicly owned, although I'm not completely clear on whether or not that will be maintained. I believe Fernley may be pursuing through a lands bill ownership of that parcel, so I don't think that's fully executed yet. So, and this, Commissioner Allen, was the first slide I was referring to earlier, where we do denote in the general northerly map from the 2020 master plan, this hatched area that we see is within the cooperative planning area between Lyon County and the city of Fernley. I've noted the 4 total subject parcels, and the reason only 3 are proposed today for amendment to industrial is that one already holds that industrial designation. I can't really speak to why these weren't more consistently assigned in the 2020 master plan. It looks like it was a carryover from the 2010 master plan. But there is what staff views as a bit of an inconsistency with the existing development and the region and these designations. So the existing plant is designated employment, and the other 2 parcels are designated as industrial. Again, all 3 are proposed for an amendment to industrial. Jumping into the zoning, as we discuss every time we talk about zoning, in 2018, the county adopted our current development code, Title 15. Along with that adoption, we adopted the zoning consistency matrix, as it's named as Appendix A. The matrix converts the still existing older names from our expired code Title 10 and converts them to the current and applicable zoning within Title 15. The image on the right is from the county's GIS application, and it already has converted these zoning districts. So I put the labels in here to see the Title 10 districts, but really I think what's important here is that the takeaway is that those 3 northern parcels are subject to rural residential 20-acre minimums. And we'll keep moving through the presentation and we'll see it doesn't appear appropriate to staff. The existing plant parcel has the zoning district name of M1 for general industrial. So per the matrix, it's already subject to the heavy industrial suburban zoning standards. And again, we'll touch more on why we're going to be proposing amendment to these parcels anyway. Forward. The next few slides are taken from the land use chapter of the 2020 master plan.
Within the land use chapter, we have tables that display the zoning districts that are seen to be compatible and consistent with the master plan designation. So on the left, you see the master plan designation of industrial, the Title 15 appropriate, compatible, consistent, whichever term you use. Zoning districts include heavy industrial suburban. And if we look at the example of uses in the far right, heavy manufacturing would be the use from our development code that would describe the Nevada cement parcels or Nevada cement operation, sorry. And if we move through this slide and the next, we'll note, recall that the existing plant is designated employment, and heavy industrial suburban is a consistent district in the employment master plan designation. But if we read through some of the descriptions and characteristics of the employment designation, and then also the examples of uses, the light manufacturing would not actually describe the existing plant. So our proposal to be moving towards industrial would be consistent with the existing development on site. And this final slide for the from the master plan land use tables does show recall those other two parcels are designated resource. The existing zoning of R20 is not compatible, and that designation per the master plan, particularly the description and characteristics, does not adequately describe these parcels. They are not in rural and remote areas away from developed lands or existing utilities. They're bound by an NDOT right-of-way and Highway 80 to the south, West Main Street to the west. They're not constrained by significant environmental topographic features. So staff is able to use this as a basis to make the findings for our recommendation. So we know this, the request is to change all three to industrial. The findings for a master plan amendment are found in Title 15, Chapter 210.03. I will kind of run through the 5 findings here in the next slides. So to begin, finding A requests review to ensure the amendment would promote the master plan goals, objectives, and actions. I've highlighted some of the listed policies and goals that were included in the staff report, noting in particular the proposal for development and amendments that would support a diverse economic base and locating industrial development as designated in the countywide land use plan or determined by criteria. And staff's review here is part of that criteria. We can see in the image on the right there that to the west is not just West Main Street, but also a Southern Pacific rail line, which includes spurs that run into the subject parcels. So this is an area that seems entirely appropriate for further industrial development and expansion from the existing plant. So we'll see a theme here moving through the next findings. This proposal does reflect, in staff view, a logical change in land use and would be compatible with the master plans and adjacent land uses. Into finding C, we identify that the proposed amendment would represent a more desirable utilization of the land. Expansion to the north on commonly owned property surrounded by vacant and public lands is certainly reasonable. That's staff's opinion. Finding D is where we again can touch on some of the input from the city of Fernley. And I think this is the most important piece of information we did receive from them. The image on the right is an excerpt from the North Area Plan for the city. And the arrow that we see, that blue arrow, runs through a portion. We can see the 2 of the subject parcels, only one of the subject parcels, the 160 acres for the master plan amendment, but there is a conceptual roadway connection that runs through that piece of property. So the applicant is aware of this. In the future, when we're coordinating with the city of Fernley and Nevada Cement for future development proposals, the details of that roadway and its effect on the development footprint will have to be worked out. I think what's important to take away from these images is that these are sort of analogous to a master plan level document. They're not actually surveyed and designated areas.
So I think what's important and what we're imagining in the future is that the types of regional connections that are depicted in the North Area Plan should be maintained. Their actual alignments, I don't believe are set in stone, and the county, the city did not give us the indication that that was their expectation. The final finding for a master plan amendment talks about maintaining relatively compact development patterns and recognizing physical geography, efficient expenditure of funds for public services. So again, an expansion to the north to commonly owned properties makes sense. And then also for future plans for development, having all of the parcels be designated with the same development standards is a much cleaner process for staff and for the applicant. They have clear development guidelines for all of their properties in this area. So with the review and analysis included in the staff report, staff is able to recommend approval of the master plan amendment to industrial for the 3 parcels. I'm of course available for questions.
Does anybody up from the commission have questions or comments?
Okay, just wondering how much of this project lies within incorporated city boundaries? Or is that part of your agreement with Lyon County?
So these parcels are under our jurisdiction. The fire district, the North Lyon Fire District, will be providing those emergency services. Lyon County Sheriffs provide those services. I don't exactly know how to answer the incorporated city part. Perhaps Commissioner Sarasola has a better answer because it's a little complicated when they're under our jurisdiction, but still within the cooperative planning area.
But they're not, the property is not considered within the city of Fernley. It is responsible by Lyon County,
That's
correct?
correct.
I
That
mean,
is correct.
it's on the outskirts of
It
it,
is.
so,
That is correct. But they have Fernley addresses.
correct.
But that's sort of the extent of it.
Kind of a Mount House kind of an issue.
Where they have a Carson City address? Yes, yes.
Which is amazing for how large the city of Fernley expansion is.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? I had a couple, but with your in-depth presentation, you answered my 2 questions, so.
Thank you. I've been noting some of the questions lately,
Yeah.
and I've been trying to get ahead of them.
Yeah, my question was going to be, what are the additional uses for industrial versus the employment resources? And you covered that, so that makes it nice. So thank you very much.
Thank you much.
Any other comments or questions? Does the applicant have any information they want to present?
Very much appreciate your consideration.
All right, thank you. Do we have any public comment that we need in the galley? How about online? Do we have any public comment online? It does not appear so. Okay, so we will take a motion for this.
All motion. Based on the aforementioned findings, I move that the planning commission forward a recommendation of approval to the Board of County Commissioners for the request from Nevada Cement Company LLC for master plan amendments to change the designation from employment and research to industrial on 3 parcels that total approximately 462.27 acres. APNs 021-042-01, 021-571-08, and 021-581-01, PLZ 2025-106.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Sells and a second by Commissioner Allen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, that passes.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to move on to 7C for possible action to forward a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners for the request from Nevada Cement Company LLC for zoning map amendment to change the zoning from Title 10 district name of RR5 Fifth Rural Residential 20-acre minimum and the M1 General Industrial on 4 parcels that total approximately 475.50 acres located at 1290 West Main Street and 3 unaddressed locations in Fernley. APN 021-581-01, 021-571-08, 021-571-05, and APN 021-042-01, PLZ 2026-002, and we have Lewis for staff report.
Thank you again. So this presentation will look remarkably similar. We are still talking about the same parcels in the same region, all owned by Nevada Cement. So again, we see their location north of Highway 80. In this case, we're going to be discussing all 4 parcels. Although I will go into some detail about the largest parcel, the existing plant site, here moving forward with some explanation for the requested zone change. So the total area of all 4 parcels this time is approximately 475.5 acres. So again, we've already had this discussion. These amendments are necessitated and recommended by staff for ease of review and for the sake of consistency for both the applicant and the county in these future reviews. Again, we've seen this slide for the future developments. I think we can just kind of keep moving through these. We just ran through the proposed master plan amendment. So with your recommendation, staff will be moving through this presentation under the presumption here that when that's forwarded to the board, were it to be approved, all 4 parcels would be holding industrial designations per the 2020 master plan. So now we'll get into the requested zone change, where I will have a little bit of explaining to do regarding all the parcels that are included in the proposed amendment. So again, this slide will look similar, or it's almost exactly the same as the previous presentation slide, where we can see those 3 northern parcels are today subject to rural residential 20-acre zoning. If we recall the last presentation in the land use table, we'll note that our R20 zoning is not compatible or consistent with the industrial designation per the master plan. However, the existing plant, 267 plus acres, is designated M1 per our zoning listings from the assessor. And if we recall from the zoning consistency matrix, M1, which stood for general industrial in Title 10, already converts to heavy industrial suburban in Title 15, meaning that today, were development proposed on the subject parcel, or the one with the plant, they'd already have HI zoning. The reason we're proposing this is just for the ease of future reviews for assessors listings and for title reports. Because it can be confusing if one parcel comes up as M1, the other one comes up as HIS, and now we're trying to make this explanation continuously. As you know, every time we talk about zoning, we have to talk about this zoning consistency matrix. So staff's of the opinion that every time we have an option to change the zoning formally to our current district names, we are doing that. So the takeaway there is that the actual acreage that would have their development standards changed is only 208.10 acres because we would be technically subtracting that 267.4. However, the community development director has agreed and the applicant recognizes the utility in trying to make sure we just have a consistent name for zoning for all 4 parcels. So with that, again, we've already discussed this. The industrial designation is appropriate for the types of uses proposed and the existing plants use. And I think we can probably kind of, I did include this list of the most of the allowed uses within the heavy industrial suburban zoning district. So we will note that uses like wood treatment and fossil alternative energy generation or power substations, hazardous waste processing, those are the types of items that require conditional use permits. Heavy manufacturing and warehousing are the types of uses that are permitted within the heavy industrial district. So what this means is the plant expansion
could move through staff's review, through an administrative design review instead of a conditional use permit. I will remind everyone that the findings for a conditional use permit are mimicked within that administrative design review process. So staff would be running through the review instead of moving this through public hearings. Title 15, Chapter 220.03 includes our findings for a zone change. We'll again see the policies quoted regarding support of a diverse economic base and locating business and industry locations consistent with the land use plan. Were those amendments to be approved, all 4 parcels would be designated industrial with the consistent zoning of heavy industrial suburban. We again are seeing this City of Fernley's North Area Plan. We can note those shades of gray per their plan are heavy and light industrial per those designations. Now, as we discussed in the questions earlier, these parcels aren't technically within the incorporated city, even though they're surrounded by some of the incorporated city, are provided services like septic from the City of Fernley. They aren't technically within an area that could formally receive a designation from the City of Fernley. But what we are identifying through the North Area Plan are the general long-term goals for the city in surrounding areas. I think the takeaway here is that we are looking at again, industrial designations. Finding B discusses adequate public facilities. We've already touched on this, that the North Lyon County Sheriffs and the North Lyon Fire Protection District will require emergency responses. The sites are served by wells with city sewer service. And then, of course, we've already noted the location of state highways, local regional roads, and the existence of the South Pacific Red Line. Finding C asks about compatibility with adjacent or master plan uses. Again, we've already touched on this, looking at the North Area Plan, and then also recognizing the long-term development plans. In this case, we're not guessing at what the plan is for those 160 acres. We're going through the preliminary steps for their future expansion. So with that, staff was able to make the findings and recommend approval. However, recognizing the sort of awkwardness of changing M1 to HI, staff does have some suggested language to amend the motion. It's here on the screen. It was not provided for you in your staff report. So I apologize for that. After discussion with Director Henderson, he determined we probably should be a little more clear about what we're doing here. So we're not implying that we're technically changing the zoning on the existing plans. So I am available for questions, and the recommended motion with the amendment is on the screen.
In changing M1 to HI, for compatibility with the assessor's office, with, all of these things that you mentioned, really is a good thing. But what impact might it have on future development? Could, since it's designated in HI, could, say these owners don't own it anymore, somebody else does, and they wanna do HI there?
No, it's a good question for clarification.
Yeah.
Essentially, it makes no difference whatsoever.
Okay.
It's really just the label. Because right now, were someone to come forward and propose, say that the plant moves on and someone else comes in, there's no such thing as development standards for M1. We would go to the consistency matrix, we'd pull up HIS and tell them these are your development standards. So really, this is just a name and label change.
I didn't know if there was something compelling that would make this area, designated as M1 and everything around,
Right.
as HI.
Yeah, no, this was kind of a staff initiative to take advantage of a requested zone change and master plan amendment. So we could just clear this up. I mean, we ideally, we would have a way to bring everybody into the naming protocols of Title 15. We just had an opportunity here, but in essence, nothing really changes. Commissioner Allen.
And that might help you by just seeing that chart again, because it's basically the same uses that kind of are available with the name change.
Precisely, right. Well, so we do get questions often about the old Title 10 zoning district names. And with the exception of a couple uses like mining that aren't included in Title 15, so then we still reference the Title 10 uses. There are no essentially grandfathered rights from having a zoning district from Title 10 that does have a conversion district in Title 15. At that point, you're just subject to the Title 15 standards. So again, in this case, M1 already converts to HI.
Okay, thank you.
I like it.
Any other questions? Go ahead,
So-
Mark.
We're gonna constantly see this. Trying to blend the two 10s with 15 to fix them and to make them compatible. So it's something that's gonna come before us several times.
I think so, Commissioner Jones. I mean, the impetus here again was during that September 25 roundtable. Staff identified the potential need for boundary line adjustments, and that's when things really sort of get a little too complicated for us to have to explain over and over again. I mean, if we were going through a mapping exercise and we had to explain, well, that's M1, but it's truthfully HI, and then that one's HI, this is a much cleaner way to get to their goals and to our goals.
Okay. Anybody else?
Back up on the screen.
Oh,
Yes, can we put the motion back on the screen so we have it to read?
yeah.
Yeah.
Since I sprung this on you.
And before we get to the motion, we need to open it up to public comment here in the galley. Does anybody have any public comment here? The applicant, good? Okay, does anybody online have any comments? Does not appear so. Okay, now we'll take, thank you. And then we'll take a motion.
Make a motion, I'll read this. Based on aforementioned findings, I move that the planning commission for a recommendation of approval to the Board of County Commissioners for request of Nevada Cement Company for zoning map amendments to change the zoning from the Title 10 district name of RR5 fifth rural residential 20-acre minimum for 3 unaddressed parcels that total approximately 208 acres, 0.10 acres to the Title 15 district of HIS, heavy industrial suburban, and to update the Title 10 district name from M1 general industrial to HIS for 1 parcel for approximately 267.40 acres at 1290 West Main Street in Fernley, APN 021-581-01, 021-571-08, 021-571-05, and 021-042-01 LZ 2026-002. No second.
Okay, we had a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner Merritt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? That passes 500. Thank you.
Thank you. That's amazing, by the way. We really are.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to Community Development Director, item number 8.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, planning commissioners. Just a brief update. I'd just like to notify the commission that open meeting law training has been scheduled for April 11th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Silver Springs Senior Center. So this training will cover general requirements and best practices under the Nevada open meeting law, and will also include a planning related training component focused on common topics and applications encountered by planning commissioners and citizen advisory board members. Your attendance is encouraged, as the training is intended to provide guidance and meeting procedures, decision-making standards, and other matters relevant to your role on the planning commission. So that's my update there. And with that, I'm also available if there's any further questions. It's 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
I know in Silver Springs, but where at?
The senior center
Center. Okay.
on April 11th. So that's I believe it's a Saturday.
Any comments from any?
Obviously, that'll be sent out to all the cabs, so.
Yes.
Show up. Okay.
I'd like to just put on record to congratulate you on your birth of your new young daughter.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Always exciting to have a new member of our community. Anything else from anyone up here? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, number 9, commissioner comments and agenda requests. Do we have anything from any of the board here today? Okay, I would just like to make a comment that I appreciate from staff. I think that our staff reports have been more concise and more informational. And you have answered a lot of my questions as I presented, so I appreciate that. So thank you very much. We're going to number 10, public participation. No action will be taken on any item until it's properly agendized. Members of the public who wish to address the planning commission may approach the podium and speak on matters related to the Lyon County Planning Commission, but not on issue items appearing on the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person or topic and will not be restricted based on viewpoint. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item on the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. At this time, we will adjourn the meeting at 10:12 a.m. Thank you very much.